If you want to know the best and most fun way to grind XP, loot, and credits in Starfield, then you're in the right place. Welcome everybody to 12 more things you didn't know about Starfield. We've got you covered with some brand new tips to help you on your journey through the galaxy, including tips on making fast travel even faster, how to get more damage out of your guns, and how to save yourself huge headaches when building ships. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you didn't know already, and if you've got any other brilliant tips and tricks for Starfield, then share them down there as well. So first up, we're having a look at how you can get the most out of your fast traveling. Often you'll find when you land at new points of interest on a planet like this industrial outpost here, it's actually not going to get you out of your ship right at the outpost. It's going to land you several hundred meters away, and you're then going to have to run the rest of the distance. It tends to do this on places that don't have their own landing pad. If it's an outpost with a landing pad already, you'll just land there and you'll already be in the right location. But you can see here we're not actually quite where we want to be. That's a research tower. The actual place where we're trying to get to is right over there. But what you can do is, as soon as you've landed, before you even get out of your ship or stand up, if you just go straight back into your menu, go to your star map and then go here, you can see it's made a new landing area just next to the outpost. But you can go and click the industrial outpost again, click to fast travel to that, and it will pop you right out in the middle of it. You can see the ship is all the way down here, so we've saved ourselves running 400 meters or so up this hill, and sometimes it can be quite a bit further than that to get to where you want to go. So nice little handy tip if you're doing a lot of exploring and you're a bit sick of running over to the places where you want to get to. Tip number 2 today is how you can zoom out the view on your ship when you're in space so you can get some really nice cinematic angles. So whilst you're flying around in space, if you open your scanner with LB on controller and then go into photo mode by clicking in the right stick, then scroll down one to where it says field of view and take this all the way down to 0. And then if you exit back out of camera mode, you'll find you've got this massive zoomed out view of your ship. Now you've got this really zoomed out view of your ship. You can go into the free look by holding down the back button or select, some people call it on Xbox, or I believe holding down middle mouse button or Q on PC, and you can then rotate the camera around your ship and get these nice panoramic shots. So especially good if you've got a really big ship you've made or you want to get some nice screenshots. You can also still fire your guns whilst you're in this view. You could try and do some combat and get some shots of your ship in this view in combat. It might work a bit better if you had some auto defense turrets, something like that, but it gives you a really unique perspective on your ship that you can't otherwise get. I don't think you can zoom in and out during this view, unfortunately, so this is all you get, but this would be great if you have an absolutely massive ship and you want to get some nice screenshots of it. A bonus tip that everybody can benefit from is why you should be using AtlasVPN for all your internet browsing and security needs. AtlasVPN offers the best deal on the market right now with their limited time Black Friday price cut, making that even better. You can get AtlasVPN now for just $1.70 a month with 6 months extra free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. You don't have to be a big technology nerd in order to use AtlasVPN. The app is super simple to set up on your PC or mobile, and in just a few clicks, you'll be ready to go. VPNs help you keep your personal information secure, as well as letting you browse the internet as if you were in a different country, meaning you never have to worry about not being able to watch region-restricted content ever again. One of my favorite things about AtlasVPN is that you can use it on unlimited devices at no extra cost. So whether you want to stay secure on your desktop PC, your laptop, or your phone, you'll always be covered. For just $1.70 a month with the limited time Black Friday price cut plus 6 months extra free, now is the perfect time for you to grab AtlasVPN. Check out the link in the video description down below to get signed up, and thank you to AtlasVPN for sponsoring today's video. Up next, we're looking at how you can charge certain weapons to actually do more damage than they'd normally do. So this works for the mag sniper. It also works for the auto rivet. So with the mag sniper here, if we go and shoot one of these big guys with a normal shot, you can see we're doing 76 damage there with each hit when we're not hitting criticals, 76. And he's now running towards me. If we go and back off a little bit, but then if I hold down the shoot button, right trigger on Xbox, it will start vibrating. I shoot this guy. We did 265. That was a crit there. Let's just get a normal hit so you can see that. We did 513 with a crit there. There you go, 265 damage with a normal shot there without critting on this guy, up from 70 odd, 265 you see we're doing with a fully charged shot there, compared to, 70, 80 damage we're doing without it charged up. So a huge difference in damage. If you haven't been doing this with your mag sniper, then you probably thought it was a bit rubbish, and you're now going to discover it's actually a pretty damn good gun. So going from 73, 76 up to 265, it's probably tripling, quadrupling, 3.5 times, something like that, the amount of damage just by holding it down for a couple of seconds before you shoot. Then, of course, if you combine this with stealth attacks and critical hits, you can hit huge damage. You see 777 we hit on that guy there. So this one's a really useful tip to know if you're doing a bit of shipbuilding. If you've done quite a bit of this, you might have come across the issue with unattached ship module, not letting you complete your build, and then spending ages trying to find where the unattached module is. It's quite easy to do by accident. We'll just delete this just so we've got one there. But you will often get this, so they're items that are pretty hidden away, you don't really know where they are. And you can see we've got one error there for unattached modules, and if you're struggling to figure out where that was, all you've got to do is go onto your ship and press the button for select all, which is LB on Xbox. It's going to highlight the whole ship. Press A to pick it up, and then just move the ship, and it's going to move everything that is attached to the point that you have selected all from. So you're going to move the whole ship out of the way, and then you've got the unattached bit just sitting on its own over here. So a really quick and easy way to find unattached modules, and you can go and shove that back in wherever it's meant to be. Another quite cool thing I discovered recently was utilizing other ships in space as vendors more often. This is especially useful if you've got your scanning skill maxed out, but it's not essential. And basically what you can do is you can trade with pretty much any ship that you see in space. So when you're in a busy area, like here we are around Aquila, this also works around maybe Jemison, some of the other busy colonies, we can pull up our scanner and we can click on these ships, and because we've got a maxed out scanning skill, it will show us how many credits they've got, and pretty much all of these will trade with us. They don't have huge amounts of money, so they're not insanely useful, but a lot of them will have 2,000 to 3,000, and there's so many of them about, and they're always coming in and out of orbit, that it's quite a handy way of just selling a few smaller guns if you've got a few bits you want to get rid of. So you just find one that you want to trade with, hold down A to hail them and ask to trade, and they normally have a bit of resources for sale, and then you can sell them a couple of guns. As I said, they mostly have pretty small amounts of credits, so you're not going to be able to sell them massive expensive things, but it's quite a nice way of mixing up the grind of going and sitting at a vendor on the ground, selling other stuff, waiting, selling, waiting, selling. The only ones that don't seem really up for trading are the Galbank guys, and the sloops don't really seem to sell anything either. You can see this guy's got 2,800 credits, a little bit more respectable. It's not amazing, but it's going to let us sell something from our ship inventory of our massive pile of random guns we got here. We can get rid of that. And once you've done 3 or 4 of these ships, that's equivalent to going down to a, 10, 12k vendor on ground level. One of the most useful and easily obtainable med items outside of the normal heals is amp. It can be easy to overlook amp, but it gives you 35% extra movement speed for 2 minutes, as well as 2 times jump height, and it's very useful, particularly if you're spending lots of time exploring planets, and that can involve a lot of running around. As well as it being quite common to come by, so it's worth just having it hotkeyed in your inventory. It's also very easy to craft, taking only 1 toxin, 2 argon, and 1 metabolic agent. And in fact, a very easy way that you can get loads of amp is by making an outpost on Jemison. So Jemison, the planet on which New Atlantis and the Lodge is based, has argon on it, and if you go into one of the frozen mountain areas in the north, you'll see there is an abundance of argon there. And if you go and stick down an outpost up here, then run around and scan some of the local plants to 100%, specifically the cold cave nettle, which drops toxin, and the tufted snow willow, which drops metabolic agent. If you get those things 100% scanned, as well as getting the relevant skills in order to build them, namely tier 1 in botany and rank 1 or 2 in outpost engineering, you can then build greenhouses. These are the commercial ones. They're a bit bigger, but you can build the smaller ones or the massive fancy ones if you want. And basically what you need to do is create a water vapor extractor, and you can connect that to the greenhouse. I've got a little container in the middle as well to store extra liquid, and then extract the greenhouse into a solids container. And what we've got going on here are 2 greenhouses, one of which is selected to make metabolic agent, and this one over here which is selected to make toxin, and they'll just sit there extracting that from these plants whilst I'm off exploring, and they'll dump it into this container here. You can see we've got 79 metabolic agents, 79 toxin, and that container is pretty much full. We've also got an extractor over here that's pulling out argon, so we've got a big old liquid container of argon over here with absolutely tons in it. And if we grab all that out, we can go up to our little lab bench here, go to amp, and we can easily craft 100 of that, and that'll keep us going for quite a while. If you need more than that, you can just sit down and rest for a few hours or a couple of days, and you'll have loads more resources that you can use to craft some more amp. Another useful med item in Starfield I didn't even know even existed is located at the Red Mile, which you can find in the Porrima system on Porrima 3. So head inside the Red Mile and go and speak to the bar lady here, and in her inventory she sells this stuff called Runner's Rush. She normally has 10 of these, and they will restock if you go and rest for 48 hours of universal time, just like any other vendor in the game. And this drink will give you plus 20% movement speed for 3 minutes, plus 50% damage resistance for 3 minutes, and plus 25% O2 recovery for 3 minutes as well. So another handy little thing to have if you're running around doing a bit of exploring, a bit of fighting, or maybe if you're just going to go and try your hand at the Red Mile. Number 8 is a little trick for finding extra bits of loot that you may not have realized were even there. Sometimes around the world you'll find boxes that don't look like they can be opened, but if you actually shoot the lids of them or hit them with an explosive, you'll see that the lid moves slightly or even opens. What you can actually do is pick up a random item and then use it to poke the lid open and have a look inside, and sometimes you can actually find little bits of loot inside these. It's certainly not super common that you might find things inside, and you're probably not going to find anything of great value, but it's a cool little thing to know that I think most people probably didn't realize. I stumbled across this mechanic a little while ago because I discovered that you could push toilet seats up by pushing items into them, which then obviously began a fascination with putting as many stupid things into everybody else's toilets as we possibly could. If you want to have another go at trying to get a rare, epic, or legendary item, maybe to get better skills on it than you got on your initial drop, you can actually just keep saving and reloading in order to get different pulls. What you can do is, if you're going into a dungeon, like this random one here on a planet for instance, is save either before you go in and do the whole thing, and then you can go through, see what you get, and if you don't like it, reload and go again. Or if you just want to check the final boss, who's most likely to have a legendary or high tier item, you can just save just before you kill him and then reload and kill them over and over until you get an item that you like. It doesn't decide what is in their inventory until they have died, so that is the point at which you need to save it. And if you want to make this most effective, then make sure you're on very hard difficulty when you first make the enemies spawn, as there'll be more chance of there being higher tier enemies to kill, which are going to have better loot. Then if you want to make it easier to kill them once they've spawned, you can just turn it down to very easy difficulty if you're struggling to kill them. My new favorite way to grind XP as well as grinding loot and credits is to go to the Serpentis system. So you'll find this system fairly far off to the east, the right hand side of the star map. You can see it's this system here, and if you go and visit pretty much any planet in this system, then you have a very high chance of being attacked by Varun ships. Similar to the last tip, if you want, you can fly here with it on very hard difficulty and then turn it down to very easy to kill the ships a bit more easily if you like. We're not going to bother for this. We should be fine killing these guys. We've got some pretty good guns on this ship. You see we've got these 2 ships that have spawned pretty much straight away. We'll blow these guys up and then show you what we get for it. One ship here, just 90 XP, not very high levels these ones. So we'll just kill them and we'll go to another system and try and find some slightly better ones. There we go, very quickly got rid of them. Quickly grab the stuff from these ships. So you can see here we've got 2 much better leveled ships, so we'll see if we can actually manage to beat these. We are still on very hard. You can see my health is absolutely falling down there. And then if you manage to take out the engines on one of these ships, you can board them and then get loads of great loot from killing the Varun on board. And if you want, you can also register and sell the ships for a good chunk of change too. I really like this as a way of getting XP and money, especially if you're looking for ways to maybe do that don't involve making an XP farm or something along those lines. It's a bit less glitchy. It's just a kind of normal gameplay mechanic, and it's nice to get a bit more ship combat as well if you've not been having too much much through your normal gameplay. If you're a high level, you can get a pretty good amount of money from these guys. Their spacesuits are worth quite a bit of change, and the guns they drop as well are also worth quite a few credits. Also, don't forget to check inside the captain's locker when you do board any ship. You're normally going to find the best gear available inside of that. If you're curious what the weapons were that I have on my ship that were making light work of those Varun ships on very hard difficulty, they were the Vanguard Obliterator Auto Projector. So these are only Class A guns, but they're very, very powerful. You get access to them after doing just a couple of the very early UC Vanguard quests. Once you're finished on Tau Ceti and returned, you should have access to buy these for any of your ships. Would definitely recommend trying them out. They're very, very powerful. As you can see from what we're doing there, they take down shield health and hull health. And then on top of that, I've also got these missile launchers here. These are the Atlatl 280A missile launchers. You won't have access to these until you're a bit higher level. I have hit level 60. That's the cap at which you unlock everything you were able to unlock. These also require Starship Design 2 in order to build. They do a big load of damage, and we've got 3 of those on top. It's worth noting while we're here, you can see we've got 3 of these Vanguard Obliterators under this side and 3 under this side. So whilst you can only have 3 different weapons across your ship, we've only actually gone for 2 on this one. You can have sometimes up to 6 of each individual thing. The way that you tell how many you can have is by looking at the power on the thing. So you can see this gun on the left, it says max power 2, and that basically means the bars that you're assigning power up in the top left there, it's going to use 2 of those for each gun you have. Each of those bars has a maximum of 12 slots, so because that's 2 power, you can have 6 of these things on your ship. These missile launchers you can see on top here are 3 power, so we could have 4 of those if we wanted to, but I quite like my little pattern of 3 up on the roof, and that seems to do the job. Same also applies to how many engines you can have on your ship. You can see they've got a max power of 3, so I could have 4 of those engines on there, which I've got. And just a handy little thing to note if you're doing some ship building. I quite like having just 2 weapons rather than 3, as it means it's a bit easier to just leave my power assigned how I like it. When I'm in space, I'm not having to shuffle the power backwards and forwards between lasers and ballistics, and pretty much don't have to touch it whilst I'm in combat. One last useful thing to note about ship combat that took me a little while to realize was that when you have damaged modules, you can actually make them repair more quickly by putting power into them. So you can see if my grav drive on my engine here is damaged and I have spare power, if I then assign power so it covers up the damaged bars, those will then repair a little bit quicker than they would otherwise. Your hull health isn't going to go up unless you're using ship parts or you go and land and repair, but your individual modules will get repaired naturally and faster if you put power into them. So that's everything for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, then why not like and subscribe and check out one of my other many Starfield tips and guide videos. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.